Hello, welcome to Grandpa's Workshop. I'm Loz, and as always, you're welcome in the workshop. Well, it's been over a month since my last update. I came back from that week away, that workshop, 5-day workshop, with the little oak dovetail set of drawers. Daughter's got that, she's very pleased with that. Leaving a legacy, that's great. Unfortunately, I think I mentioned it, I put me back out on the course with all the standing and all the hammering with a mallet, tidying up dovetails. That's plagued me for a couple of weeks and you're just not in the mood. But anyway, I'm back in harness again. What have I done? I've rearranged the workshop yet again. I've turned the bandsaw around, rejigged me the router table and the all-in-one table, and I've moved my table saw and I've turned the Shelburne bench round again. It's just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I have made some progress in the back garden. The bit of the garden that runs directly behind the end of this garage was a stepped set of raised beds for some ballerina fruit trees and some blueberry bushes. Seeing as those trees were about 15 years old, they were getting so the annual pruning just wasn't really holding them back, and there was a restricted range of fruits in them that nobody particularly liked. So I've grubbed that out. I'll show you that picture. That I'm going to rejig over the latter half of the winter and spring next year. 2 steps, gravel decking at the top and some wooden decking at the bottom for maybe a big shed. So I'll be Mr. 3 sheds, well, a garage and 2 sheds. So watch out for that in 2025. My plans for 2025 is to finish this finally, get the side tables for my table saw so I can have a router in one side and a work area on the other to house, so I can use the Incra positioner in anger. There is that. And then I'm upgrading the photography stuff. This is a clip-on multi-adjustable for my in-workshop camera, and that can run down the middle and I can do positional shots for you guys as I work on the equipment. I'm a long time photographer. I shall break off shortly and go indoors because I'm having a major downsizing in terms of stuff now. I'm on my own after Nana Sue's passing. It's been over 15 months. Got another load of bags to go to the charity shop. Just keeping a selection of the really treasured treasures, extra special treasures. You know what I mean. And because I'm a long-standing photographer, note to you guys, bad photographer, more interested in the equipment, gear acquisition syndrome. Pardon me, I've suffered from gas over the years. I've had every brand of film camera, from little half frame, full frame, the Maya 6x4.5 medium format, a couple of twin lenses, a big 5x4. That all went when I converted to the new Fuji. So I've been a Fuji fanboy for the past 13, 14 years. Got rid of all my Canon gear and switched over to Fuji, and I've been acquiring stuff. But in the latter half of Nana Sue's illnesses, I wasn't able to get out. So I wasn't able to update the bodies as I might or get out. So now I've got a load of stuff and I'll show you what I'm doing. Just part of the, not minimalism in the house, but essentialism. Turning it over and setting my stall out for next year, 2025, when I'm 70 and working onwards for the last decade of my life. which you shall be able to watch. So have a break now, and yeah, you can have a look at Grandpa indoors shortly. Catch you in a sec. Right, indoor venue, suitably togged. Right, this may not be of interest to a lot of you, but I just thought I'd do a little summary of my camera gear as of October 2024, because it's mostly going. Right, as I mentioned earlier, I've been into photography, well, since primary school. I used my grandma's 220 roll film, big concertina camera, and then moved on to Canon gear. I've still got a Canon Nifty 50. That's what's left of all my old camera gear, because I forgot to take it when I traded them in. When Fuji came out, it was groundbreaking. I haven't got all the models, but I had my head turned by the X Pro 1, in that it was the first digital rangefinder style camera, which harked back to my old 35mm rangefinders. I couldn't afford it brand new at the time, so I waited a couple of years. 2010 to 2013, I managed to get a really good deal on photography school at Bolton part-time, and I managed to do 3 years of that before Nana Sue came out of remission, and it was all hands to the pumps again. So at the time, I was looking, well, while I was on the course, I was looking to upgrade to like the second generation of digital cameras. Couldn't afford the X Pro 1 brand new, but shortly thereafter, they brought out the XT1. Now, those of you that are photographers will know all about the X series of cameras from Fuji and how they included film styles that mimicked the old 35mm film for colours, and extremely popular. So I traded in my Canon 350D and my 7D and a full set of zoom lenses. For this I went to what is now Wex, got the XT1 as my main camera, and because I was thinking I was going to go semi-pro, I got the XM1 as a backup body. Now both of those have 16 megapixel sensors, second generation. So, and I was really pleased with them. I got a pair of the kit lenses to cover all the zoom things, from 18 to 50 and 50 to 230. I broke the XC version. The kit lenses are called XC. The slightly better one's called XF. So I used that to death, and then when I broke it, I got the XF 18 to 55 and the 50 to 230. And those two lasted me for some while. But then you get greedy, don't you? So I wanted to do, because my background in building surveying, I loved architectural for photography. The 18 to 55 just didn't cut it for interiors. So I went back and got myself a 10 to 24, which is like 15 to 35mm. So 15mm to 20 to 22. That's really good for indoor architectural shots without turning into the fisheye lens. And then I got enamoured of the medium format look, which those of you that know, because medium format has a larger sensor or film back, it enables you to do short depth of field. So if you're doing portraits, you need a slightly longer lens, a wide aperture, and that gives you a shallow depth of field. So the person's eyes and eyebrows can be in focus, but the background's blurred. So I went and got myself a 56. Is it 1.2? I can never remember. It's 1.2. It's about 75, 80 mil, 1.8, something like, in terms of a full frame lens. Portrait was really nice. Then, after a couple of years passed, I managed to pick up the X Pro one, which gives you the true optical rangefinder experience that I was hankering back for from the film days, and I paired that with the little Fuji pancake lens. That's a 27mm by 2.8, so it doesn't lose very much on the aperture, and that's practically what you see with your eyes. So not quite a nifty 50, but that was really good. And as I say, then I grew out of the XC version. I got myself the full XF zoom 55 to 200, so not quite the reach, but better glass. So I'm dead chuffed with that. And I got myself, for one camera, one lens street photography, I went and upgraded to the 23 f2.8. That's a lovely lens if you're into the Fuji. I'd always recommend that. That's the equivalent of a 35mm in old money. So there's that. Now, after my 3 years photography school, everything went in abeyance. Now, I always said when I'd switched to the Fuji gear, the lenses are for life, but the bodies are interchangeable as they get upgraded. So I didn't get an XT2 to upgrade from the XT1, but later on I did get the XT3, and the plan was to go to the XT, skip a generation, a bit like you do with phones, XT5. And I haven't done very much at all with them. So they're all going, barring the X Pro 1 with one lens. So I'm going to be, for the start of 2025, one camera, one lens. And all this, well, let's see. All that, the XT1 came with the little hot shoe pop-up flash. And then for a bit more reach, I got at the time, Fuji hadn't brought out a better flash, and nobody was doing a properly Fuji compatible flash, the likes of Godox do nowadays. But anyway, I waited and I picked up an EF20 second hand. It's not quite a full power flash, but it's bigger than that. So all those are going. I've got a really good deal from MPB, and they're going to be boxed up and they're going Monday. These, where's the 10 to 24? That's it. 10 to 24. See, my mind's going. That's the 23mm. There it is. 18 to 55 and the 55 to 200. With the X Pro 3, they're going to the daughter-in-law Carol Gooden. She started in Canon and then got enamoured of the iPhones, so she wants to get back into the proper stuff. So that's going to them. I'm getting a good price for those. And the elephant in the room, and the Crocodile Dundee. You think that's not a camera. This is a camera. The Fuji Professional 6x8 Studio Film Camera. It takes 6x8 roll film negatives. That's the size of the film negative. Fully electronic studio camera. When I started on the photo school, he did quite a bit of studio work, and it was always difficult borrowing cameras out of store. So I got this when I traded in maybe 4x5 and me 6x4.5 for film cameras. I got a good deal on this second hand. Big body. It's got a back that revolves, the waist level finder, a mirror finder, and a bit like the RB67 film camera. Well, I don't think they do it. It's got the full front element movements, so focuses in and out, and it rises and tilts. So you do the full, is it Schlienflug movements? So you can change perspective at close up in a studio. So I got that. Lens bellows, bag bellows for outside and extreme movements. Film back, 3 film backs. Now, photographers might be interested. It's all electronic. So there's a battery on the camera that does all the camera electronics, but the film backs come with an onboard battery, so it remembers your frame numbers. If you're working in the studio with a variety of film stock, you can switch your film stock around, and with an onboard battery it remembers your exposure. Now, over the past 10 years, when I took it out again, all 3 of the film backs, the batteries have died. So to date I've been and had one sent off and had a battery put in. The other 2 have yet to have batteries. And I've got 4 lenses, 65, 100, 135, 210. So that's a good setup. It's only the Mark 1. He did a Mark 2 and Mark 3 later. But that's all going to the camera crib in Manchester. They've said they'll give me a competitive price. When I got it in a huge flight case, which is over there. The foam is starting to go. And it came with 2 rechargeable batteries and a battery charger. Those batteries have died. I managed to pick up off eBay a little replacement. I don't know if I can get it off. It takes 6 AA batteries, and that is the button. Roll that forward. There we go. It's always difficult when it's shaded. So that's all ready to go off. So all that's going. MPB, camera crib, daughter-in-law, and this for the moment. Now, when I started the channel, I started filming using the XM1 on a tripod, but I found it not as convenient as using my iPhone. So going forward, I'll carry on using the iPhone. When this is all sorted out, I'm going to upgrade. That's an old iPhone 11 and I'm using it on tele and wide angle. It's done marvellous. You've seen the state of the videos in the garage. It's not high end, but everything's legible. But I am going to upgrade to the iPhone 16 because it's the iPhone 16 Pro got a 48mm. Well, the lens is wide angle, isn't it? But that 48 meg now does up to a 5x crop, and it's got a 48 meg super wide. Now I know it's computational and it's a tiny sensor and tiny lenses, and it fills that 48mm with stardust and candy floss compared to proper lenses. But for out and about, it'll do me. And 2025, I'm going to be out and about. doing stuff that I've been meaning to do for a decade, but it just wasn't fair to go and do. But now I'm on my own, I can during the week. That's brilliant. So there's that. This might not be my forever camera because I've been saving up for 10 years. Now, I'm always joking. The kidney keeps going back and I keep selling it. But I have been saving up. So there may be a one and done camera that I've had my eye on since it came out in 2015. Now here's a hint to some of you that may be camera aficionados and suffer from gas. I'm going to do a one and done. This was my pseudo rangefinder with a pseudo 40 odd mil lens at 2.8. I may go one better or several times better on the size of the sensor and a fixed lens. I wonder what it might be. I'm not going to turn this into a camera channel. There are too many people saying, oh look, I've spent 10 grand on a camera, have a look at this, it's the bee's knees, you know. But there is one that's special that I've been looking at for the best part, well, it hasn't been out a decade, but for the best part of a decade I've been looking after a brand to do a one and done on that and my iPhone, albeit whoever cameras. So there we are. This has gone on too long, I might cut it back a bit, but this is as much for me so I can see what I have let go in the years to come and how things are going. So that's that. Next one, it might be some progress in the garage, or it might be my slip joint knife collection, because past 2 years I've had my head turned by knife channels going back to my childhood. When every kid growing up in the 50s and 60s had a bloody great knife stuffed down the scout socks and pocket knives and all sorts. And I'm revisiting my childhood with me dad's and my granddad's old knives. So that might show of you. Again, it's not turned into a knife channel either. It's just a waffle channel. So there you are for the 20 or 30 guys who follow me religiously regardless and listen to my waffle. I'm calling it a day. It's far too long. You guys enjoy yourselves. I hope the weather doesn't punish you too bad, because the cold and damp on the Pennines is really getting my joints. But nil desperandum illegitimus carborundum. So I'll see you again, guys. You take care. Crack on.